Well, I had was going to fence up this part of the swamp.
What if the creatures of legend aren't just myths?
The Jersey Devil is actually the 13th child.
Over the years, strange figures with glowing eyes, shadowy wings, and twisted bodies have been caught on camera, proof that something terrifying might be lurking in the dark.
You can essentially get lost in the Pine Barrens and never be seen again.
Are these real monsters or just tricks of the light? Let's find out.
There's no way that this could have been a fish because fish just don't get that big in this lake.
Starting with Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp, a scaly, bipedal creature from South Carolina, reportedly caught on camera. In the deep, shadowy swamps of Bishopville, South Carolina, there's a legend that refuses to die, the Lizard Man of Scape Ore Swamp. It all started in the late 1980s, when people began reporting strange sightings of a tall, scaly creature lurking in the wetlands. This wasn't just some blurry figure in the distance. Witnesses described it as a 7-foot-tall reptilian beast with glowing red or orange eyes, webbed hands with 3 long fingers, and rough green skin. It wasn't just seen, it left behind scratches, footprints, and even damage to cars. The most famous sighting came from 17-year-old Christopher Davis. One late night in June 1988, Davis was driving home when he got a flat tire near the swamp. As he finished changing it, he heard a noise behind him. When he turned around, there it was, a huge reptilian creature running straight at him. It grabbed at his car, even jumped onto the roof, clinging on as he swerved wildly to shake it off. When he finally made it home, his car was scratched up, the side mirror was damaged, and his story sent chills through the town. More reports followed, and some even claimed their cars had been bitten and clawed. The sheriff's department investigated, finding massive 3-toed footprints, but no known animal matched them. The story spread fast. Tourists and hunters poured in, hoping to catch a glimpse of the creature. A local radio station even offered a $1 million reward for its capture. Then came another claim. A man named Kenneth Orr said he shot the creature and found scales and blood, but just days later, he admitted making it up. Still, the sightings didn't stop. The Lizard Man faded over time, but even today, some believe it's still out there, hidden in the swamps, waiting to be seen again. Do you think these creatures are real or just myths? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mysterious stories. Next up, dire wolf was a large, prehistoric wolf that once roamed North America. The dire wolf was a beast straight out of prehistoric nightmares. It roamed the Americas thousands of years ago, living in grasslands, forests, and even mountains. Bigger and stronger than today's gray wolves, it had powerful jaws, massive teeth, and a bone-crushing bite. Fossils of these legendary creatures have been found in many places, but the biggest collection came from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, where hundreds of dire wolves met their end, trapped in the sticky tar. Their bones tell the story of fierce hunters who preyed on giant animals like bison, sloths, and even ancient camels. But as the Ice Age ended, so did they. When their food disappeared, so did the wolves. Their remains were first discovered in the 1850s, but back then, scientists weren't sure what they had found. A fossilized jawbone in Indiana turned out to belong to one of these long-lost predators. As more bones were uncovered across North America, the pieces started to come together. At first, they were thought to be just big wolves, but the more fossils were studied, the clearer it became. This was a species unlike any other. Scientists gave it the name Enochion, meaning terrible wolf. For years, people have wondered if dire wolves could have survived, hiding in remote areas, waiting to be discovered again. Some claim to have seen massive, wolf-like creatures far larger than any normal wolf. Could they still be out there? The mystery remains. With modern technology and cameras capturing more than ever, people keep searching. Whether in fossilized bones or in blurry, unexplained sightings, the dire wolf refuses to be forgotten. Ogopogo is a legendary lake monster, said to inhabit Canada's Okanagan Lake, much like the dire wolf once roamed the land. Deep in the waters of Okanagan Lake in Canada, a mysterious creature is said to lurk. Locals call it Ogopogo, a long, snake-like beast with dark, smooth skin. Some say it's as thick as a telephone pole and stretches nearly 50 feet. It moves fast, twisting its body and gliding through the water with its powerful tail. The legend goes way back to the First Nations people, who believed in a water spirit named Naitaka. They said it wasn't just an animal, but a powerful force, sometimes even dangerous. Stories tell of travelers who refused to offer a sacrifice before crossing the lake, only to be swallowed by the raging waters. Some settlers also claimed to have lost their horses to the beast, dragged beneath the waves by something unseen. The name Ogopogo came later, inspired by a song in 1924, but sightings had already begun. In 1872, Susan Allison, one of the first settlers in the area, described seeing the creature in the lake. Over the years, more people reported strange ripples, humps appearing and disappearing, and something massive moving beneath the surface. Then, in 1968, a man named Art Folden saw something odd in the water while driving. He grabbed his camera and filmed a dark shape, making a huge wake. Analysis showed it was a solid, moving object, though skeptics suggested it could have been an otter or a log. Tourists, fishermen, and locals kept seeing it. In 1980, 50 people on a beach watched a strange creature glide through the water for 45 minutes. Some caught it on film. Others described a giant black shape speeding through the lake at 25 miles per hour, its long body rising and sinking. Expeditions used sonar to scan the lake, sometimes finding strange, unexplainable objects beneath the surface. The mystery remains. Is Ogopogo real, or just shadows, waves, and imagination? The water holds its secrets. Loch Ness Monster is another famous lake creature that is said to lurk in Scotland's Loch Ness. In the deep, dark waters of Loch Ness in Scotland, a mysterious creature is said to hide. People call it Nessie, a huge, long-necked beast with humps rising from the water. Some say it looks like a sea serpent, others like a giant fish or even a dragon. The world first heard about Nessie in 1933, when a man named George Spicer reported seeing something strange in the loch. After that, letters flooded in, each with a new sighting, each with a new story. Some people believed Nessie was real, while scientists dismissed it as tricks of the eye, floating logs, or even hoaxes. The legend, though, is much older. A tale from the 6th century tells of Saint Columba, an Irish monk who saw a beast attack a man swimming in the River Ness. The creature dragged him under, but Columba raised his hand, made the sign of the cross, and ordered it to leave. As if pulled by an invisible force, the monster fled. Some say this was Nessie's first record, but others argue it was just an old tale, like many about water beasts in Celtic myths. The 1800s brought more sightings. In 1871, a man named D. Mackenzie saw something moving like an upturned boat, churning the water before vanishing. He didn't share his story until 1934, when the world had already become obsessed with Nessie. Another sighting came in 1888, when a mason named Alexander MacDonald spotted a strange, stubby-legged creature surfacing near the shore before gliding away. He described it to a water bailiff, who compared it to a giant salamander. Sightings continued, pictures were taken, and sonar scans searched the depths. But Nessie remains a mystery, slipping beneath the surface, keeping the world guessing. A petrified mystery animal is an unexplained fossilized creature, adding to the many strange beings, like the Loch Ness Monster, that spark curiosity. Imagine being jolted awake by a thunderous explosion, shaking your home. That's exactly what happened to a farmer in a remote Russian village in 2011. Alarmed, he rushed outside, expecting to find fire or wreckage, but instead, he stumbled upon something far more disturbing, what looked like the remains of an unknown creature, completely dried out and frozen in a twisted, unnatural state. Its head was oddly shaped, its body shrunken and stiff, and its limbs didn't resemble anything familiar. It wasn't just strange, it was terrifying. As word spread, fear took hold of the village. A video of the discovery showed the eerie corpse lying near the farmer's corn drying area as if it was just another part of his routine. But the villagers knew better. Many whispered about dark omens and ancient legends. In Slavic folklore, there's a fearsome witch named Baba Yaga who lives in a house that stands on chicken legs, snatching children away. Could this be something from those old stories? Was this creature her work? The fear was real, but not everyone believed in supernatural explanations. Scientists had their own theories. Russia's melting permafrost has been revealing long-buried prehistoric creatures, perfectly preserved mammoths, rhinos, and other extinct species. Could this be one of them? Experts analyzed the video closely. The creature had large, hollow eye sockets and what seemed to be the remains of a beak, suggesting it could be a bird. Others pointed out what looked like wings and sharp claws, similar to a giant fruit bat. But there was a problem. Those bats don't exist in Russia. Without the actual remains to study, the truth remains a mystery. Was it a lost species, a prehistoric survivor, or something even more unexplainable? For now, the answer remains buried in uncertainty. Creepy Worms Cluster is a writhing mass of worms that moves in unison, often mistaken for a single creature. What do you feel if you are driving down a quiet road after a heavy rainstorm and seeing something that makes your skin crawl? In Eisenhower State Park, Texas, in 2015, park rangers were making their usual rounds when they spotted something strange right in the middle of the road. Piles of red, wriggling masses stretching in a perfect line. At first, it looked like someone had dumped raw ground meat all over the pavement. But then, one of the piles moved. They weren't scraps of meat. They were worms. Lots and lots of worms. It wasn't just their sheer number that was unsettling, it was the way they gathered. Instead of spreading randomly, they aligned in a straight formation along the driest part of the road. This wasn't normal worm behavior. Worms rely on moisture to survive, and roads are built to drain water toward the sides, making the middle the worst place for them to be. So why were they there? Some experts suggested it was a survival tactic. In times of extreme weather, some animals, like ants, form massive floating colonies to stay alive. Could these worms be attempting something similar, clustering together to conserve moisture? Others thought this could be a rare glimpse of worms displaying a kind of collective intelligence, like bees in a hive or tunicates in the ocean that fuse into massive, chain-like organisms. But not all scientists were convinced. True superorganisms, like bees and ants, have specific roles. Some individuals reproduce, while others protect the colony. These worms didn't follow those rules. Still, their behavior was bizarre. If they were trying to stay wet, why gather in the driest spot? No one has been able to explain it. Charles Darwin once said, "Worms shape the earth in ways we don't fully understand. Maybe, just maybe, they know something we don't." Mothman is a flying humanoid first seen in the 1960s West Virginia, often linked to strange sightings and photos. In the quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, something strange happened between 1966 and 1967. People started seeing a creature unlike anything they had ever known. It was tall, almost 7 feet, with glowing red eyes and large wings. The first report came from 2 young couples driving near an old munitions plant. They saw it standing on the roadside, its weird red eyes staring right at them. Terrified, they sped off, but the creature followed, flying above their car and making a loud screeching sound. When they finally reached town, it disappeared, but their fear didn't. Word spread quickly, and more people came forward with similar stories. Some described it as a giant bird, others as something almost human. A few even claimed their pets vanished after encountering it. A local contractor swore his television made strange buzzing noises the night he saw the creature's glowing eyes in his field. The town sheriff thought it was just an oversized heron, while a biologist suggested it might be a lost sandhill crane, which has red markings near its eyes. But not everyone was convinced. Then, something terrible happened. On December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge, connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio, suddenly collapsed, killing 46 people. Some believed the creature was a warning, a sign of disaster. This theory was later explored in the book The Mothman Prophecies, which linked the sightings to supernatural events. It even became a Hollywood movie in 2002. The legend grew, and soon, Mothman wasn't just a local mystery, it was a global phenomenon. Even years later, people still claim to see it, with some even linking it to tragic events in other parts of the world. Whether it was a bird, a lost creature, or something beyond explanation, one thing is certain: Mothman remains one of the most chilling mysteries ever caught on camera. The next one on the list, the Thunderbird, is a giant bird-like creature rumored to be prehistoric, with alleged sightings in the US and Canada. High above the skies, with wings strong enough to shake the earth, the legendary Thunderbird has fascinated people for centuries. In the stories of many Native American tribes, this massive bird wasn't just any ordinary creature. It was a force of nature. When it flapped its wings, thunder roared across the land. When its eyes flashed, lightning split the sky. Some believed the Thunderbird was a guardian, protecting people from evil, while others saw it as a mighty being that demanded respect and offerings. Across North America, different tribes spoke of this enormous bird. The Algonquian people said it ruled the skies, battling terrifying creatures from the underworld. The Ojibwe believed Thunderbirds were warriors sent to fight dangerous water spirits and punish those who broke moral rules. The Menominee told tales of Thunderbirds living on a floating mountain in the western sky, controlling the storms and keeping giant serpents from taking over the world. Even the Siouan people around the Great Lakes believed that anyone who had a vision of the Thunderbird would become a powerful war chief. But was the Thunderbird just a legend? Over the years, people have claimed to see something in the sky that doesn't fit the description of any known bird. Giant shadows passing overhead, enormous wings beating against the clouds. Some believe these sightings could be proof that the Thunderbird is real. In the 20th century, reports surfaced of a bird so massive it blocked out the sun. In Illinois, a man swore he saw a creature with a wingspan stretching over 15 feet. Others have even captured blurry images of what appears to be a bird larger than any eagle. Could the Thunderbird still be soaring through the skies, hidden from the modern world? Some believe it's just a myth, while others are convinced the legend is still alive, waiting for the right storm to take flight once again. You won't believe this, but it's true. Ningen is a humanoid sea creature from Japan, seen in odd, low-quality videos. Deep in the icy waters near Antarctica, a strange legend has captured people's imaginations. The Ningen, a massive, pale creature with eerie human-like features, is said to glide through the ocean's depths, its enormous body blending with the frozen waves. Some say it looks like a giant whale with a face eerily similar to ours, while others describe it as having long, almost human-like arms reaching out from its sides. No one knows for sure what it is, but over the years, sightings and mysterious footage have only deepened the mystery. The legend began in the mid-2000s when Japanese internet users shared a chilling story. A whale research crew sailing near Antarctica spotted something rising from the water. At first, they thought it was a submarine, but as they got closer, the enormous figure vanished beneath the waves. Then, in 2005, Google Earth captured an image of the Southern Ocean that some believe shows Ningen. While skeptics insist it was just an iceberg shaped by nature, others weren't so sure. The mystery only grew in 2010, when a Japanese aquarium released a video of ocean life. Near the end of the footage, a strange figure with small eyes and a wide, almost smiling mouth appeared on the ocean floor. Some claimed this was the Ningen, but others argued it was nothing more than a snaggletooth snake eel, or even just a strangely shaped rock. However, the most haunting evidence comes from underwater footage shared online in the 2010s. A dark, shadowy figure with a human-like form moves silently through the deep. Some say it's proof the Ningen is real, an undiscovered creature lurking in the coldest, most unexplored parts of our planet. Could it be a new species, a trick of the light, or something far more mysterious? The ocean keeps its secrets well, and the Ningen remains one of its most chilling mysteries. Well, you won't believe this. The creature comes from the mythical stories to reality. Kraken is a legendary giant squid, with deep-sea sightings fueling myths of its existence. For centuries, sailors have told terrifying stories about a sea monster so huge it could drag entire ships into the depths. They called it the Kraken, a massive creature lurking in the waters between Norway and Iceland. Some say it was a giant squid, stretching up to 50 feet long, its long tentacles wrapping around ships and pulling them under. Others believed it was an enormous octopus waiting in the deep, its massive eyes glowing in the dark. No matter the version, one thing was clear: the Kraken was something to fear. The first written stories of the Kraken appeared in the early 1700s, when explorers described a creature unlike anything seen before. A Danish bishop named Pontoppidan wrote that it was so large that people sometimes mistook it for an island. He claimed it could crush ships and create whirlpools that sucked sailors to their doom. Later, in the 1800s, a French scientist became obsessed with the idea of giant octopuses, believing they might be real. Famous writers like Jules Verne even included the Kraken in their stories, describing battles between man and monster beneath the sea. But what if the stories weren't just myths? In modern times, strange footage has surfaced, showing enormous creatures moving through the ocean depths. Some believe these are real-life krakens, giant squids caught on camera for the first time. In 2005, a deep-sea camera recorded a squid with tentacles stretching over 20 feet. In another video, taken from a research ship, an enormous shape drifted just beneath the surface before disappearing into the dark waters. Some say it proves that giant sea monsters still roam the ocean. Others think it's simply nature playing tricks on us. But as long as the deep sea remains unexplored, the mystery of the Kraken will never fade. Don't confuse this with gorilla or chimpanzee. This is weirdly something else. Bigfoot is an ape-like creature said to roam North American forests, often seen in blurry photos and videos. Deep in the forests of North America, hidden among the towering trees, a giant, hairy figure has been spotted for centuries. They call it Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, a towering creature covered in dark fur, walking on two legs like a man, but far larger, far stronger. Some say it's a legend, a story passed down through time, but others believe it's real. The mystery of Bigfoot has only grown over the years, with blurry photographs, shaky videos, and massive footprints left behind in the mud. Stories of this creature go way back, long before modern sightings. Indigenous people spoke of a hairy man living in the woods, watching from the shadows. Spanish explorers in the 1500s reported strange figures lurking around their camps at night. In the 1700s, settlers in Mississippi told of loud screams coming from the forests, while hunters in Canada claimed they had seen something massive moving between the trees. The creature was said to be huge, sometimes 9 feet tall, sometimes even taller, with long arms and glowing eyes that shined red in the darkness. Some said it looked more human than an ape, and its face was almost familiar. Others described a terrible smell, like rotting animals and garbage, hanging in the air wherever it passed. Over time, the legend only grew. In the 1900s, people started reporting sightings more often. Giant footprints, up to 24 inches long, were found deep in the wilderness. In 1967, a short film captured what many believe is the clearest proof yet: a tall, furry figure walking through the trees before disappearing into the forest. Was it real? A hoax? No one could say for sure. Even today, new videos and photos appear blurry and unclear, always just out of reach. Some believe it's proof that Bigfoot is still out there, hiding in the wild, watching, waiting. Finally, the Jersey Devil is a winged, demonic creature from New Jersey folklore, rumored to lurk in the forests. In the heart of the forests of South Jersey, hidden among the twisted trees of the Pine Barrens, people say a creature lurks. They call it the Jersey Devil. For centuries, stories have spread about this strange beast, a creature with bat-like wings, hooves, a long tail, and a terrifying scream that echoes through the night. Some say it moves faster than any animal, appearing for just a moment before vanishing into the darkness. Many who claim to have seen it are left shaken, unable to explain what they witnessed. But where did this legend come from? The most famous story traces back to 1735. A woman named Mother Leeds was said to be giving birth to her 13th child. Frustrated and exhausted, she cried out, "Let this child be the devil." The baby was born normal, but within moments, it transformed. Wings burst from its back, claws replaced its fingers, and its face twisted into something inhuman. With an unearthly scream, it flew up the chimney and disappeared into the forest. From that moment, sightings of the Jersey Devil began. Some believed it returned to haunt the region, lurking in the shadows, watching those who dared to enter its territory. But there is more to the tale. The Leeds family was well known in the area, and not always for good reasons. Daniel Leeds, an early settler, had written books about astrology and the supernatural, things his Quaker neighbors found unsettling. He was accused of being evil, and over time, rumors grew. His son, Titan Leeds, had a rivalry with Benjamin Franklin, who jokingly called him a ghost. People began whispering about the Leeds Devil, and as time passed, that name became linked to something much darker. With every horrible scream heard in the woods and every strange shadow seen in the moonlight, the legend grew stronger. And even now, the Jersey Devil refuses to fade into myth. Whether these legendary creatures are real or just clever illusions, the mystery keeps us wondering. From blurry shadows to shocking footage, each sighting fuels our curiosity and belief in the unknown. Maybe one day, clearer proof will surface, but until then, the thrill of the hunt continues. Keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in the dark.